The first year I took gardening seriously, calendula was the only flower that I planted. And since then, it has quickly become one of my absolute favorite plants to grow. Not only is it super easy to grow from seed, I literally just toss the seed into soil. Maybe I'll cover it up and then I just let it grow. But it also adds bright pops of color throughout the garden, and it has helped build my confidence that I can grow things and I can garden. I've seen some people say it doesn't do well in the heat, but with some days in the 90s in my area, that has not been my experience. Though I will say, most of the places that I have calendula growing, it does get afternoon shade, so it is protected from the hottest parts of the day. Do keep that in mind. With my experience, I haven't found heat to be a problem. Furthering it being just absolutely easy to grow. A lot of people say that it needs full sun in order to bloom and to do well, but again, most of my calendula is growing in part shade, so that hasn't been my experience. Well,
This is probably the shadiest area I have the calendula. It maybe gets 4 hours of sun. And as you can see, it has bloomed. It is creating seed. So it's a little less vigorous than some of my other areas, but it is completely possible to grow in these kinds of conditions.
my last note on growing is that it doesn't really seem to need water except for in the very beginning. And even then, half the time I haven't been watering it. It's just self-seeding and growing when the environment is right. But that said, I really stop watering it once it reaches a few inches tall, and it does just fine without me in my area.
So here is calendula that is growing in this tiny little square hole over here.
So calendula is extremely easy to grow, and that's one of the reasons why it's a huge favorite of mine. But it's also easy to save seed from. So it's really easy to have seed available to plant next year or to give to friends. All you do is wait for the petals to dry out and save them in a container. This is an example of calendula ready for seed harvesting. See how the seeds brush off the head? This is an example of calendula that is not ready for harvesting, but will be soon. See how the seeds aren't brown and they are not loose to rubbing. If seed saving isn't your thing, they self-seed readily every single spring for me. You can grab some spent flowers with the seeds on them and throw them anywhere you want calendula next year and just let nature let them grow when they're ready. Or you can let them just fall to the ground where they're growing already and pop up when they're ready next year. I also love that it's pretty easy to recognize as a seedling.
These are calendula seedlings that sowed themselves into this pot near this calendula patch. There's also some more down here you can see. This is another calendula seedling.
So if you're still learning the difference between weeds and plants that you want and struggle to know if what is popping up is a friend or not, these will help boost your confidence in that regard too, because they, like nothing else, in my opinion, looks like them, unlike a lot of the other plants that I've started from seed. Additionally, it's also a wonderful pollinator attractor. I see bees, skippers, butterflies, and cool looking flies all over my calendula patches, and it's been an absolute joy to observe. And perhaps my favorite thing about calendula is that it is such a wonderful trap crop for many common garden pests. It has sticky stems that literally trap the pests.
It's so sticky to touch too. It's hard to get wrong.
I most often see aphids stuck on it, and this makes it a wonderful companion plant. I often tuck it in on the edge of my garden beds as a supportive friend to help defend off anything that might come after all of the other important to me plants.
So I've got calendula on this edge of the bed near the peach tree, and I've got calendula tucked in on this edge of the bed.
You can see here, it even fits in small places like the holes in the cement blocks of my garden. So again, just super easy to tuck into any bare spot that may need some additional protection or may benefit from additional blossoms, invitations to pollinators, etc. That said, because calendula is such a great trap crop, I often find that my calendula patches look worse for the wear towards the middle to end of the season and maybe look worse than literally any other plant that I'm growing. However, it is worth it to see the rest of my garden thrive. And even if my calendula is being taken over by bugs and pests, it seems like it doesn't hold the plant back and the plant still continues to bloom profusely. Now, even though it doesn't seem to stop the blooms, I have found that because the plant traps pests, it does make it hard to harvest flowers without the plant being absolutely covered in bugs, which is gross. What I do to deal with this is I'll take cuttings with as much stem as possible without hurting other branching blooms. And I run my hands along the stem to physically remove the bugs stuck on it, which is really gross. And even grosser, sometimes I have to go in with my nails and scrape. While I do this, I also remove the leaves of the stem and then I bunch the calendula up and hang it in a dark area to dry. I've also heard that you can use the flowers in teas, salves, infusions, etc., but I personally haven't been super interested in trying my hand at that yet, though I might be convinced to throw some petals in my salad for a fun, colorful garnish. The last reason that I've fallen in love with calendula is, again, it helps easily fill in gaps in the garden that maybe are a little bit harder to figure out what I want to put in there permanently or perennially. And it's just a great gap filler as I make those decisions as my garden and my food forest grows. So it's really great to just throw in when I don't know what to put in a place yet. Partially shady or full sun, it doesn't matter. And I know that when I put it there, it's going to help protect the soil. It's going to help feed the soil. It's going to help bring beneficial bugs to the area and support the plants that I already have in the area by trapping pests. And it'll be easy to remove in the future if I need to. But again, it's just like a really great gap filler, a really great multi-use annual to just toss around as you have areas you want to develop or are waiting to develop and need to protect currently. That's why I'm absolutely in love with calendula in my Zone 6B garden. I'd love to hear if you've got a favorite plant to grow from seed and why in the comment section. And if you've grown calendula, I'd also love to hear your experience in the comment section. I know everyone's garden is different, so I'd love to hear how it fares for you. And hit the subscribe button for more notes and tours on what's growing in my Zone 6B garden.